Hello class, welcome to Business Law course. This is the continuation of our discussion regarding the business law. At the previous lesson, we have learned about the labor law, and in this occasion, we will continue with the discussion regarding the banking law. And as usual, to give you a very fundamental understanding before we discuss about the more specific discussion regarding the banking law, I will tell you as usual the concept of the banking law. So banking law is one of a law in the scope of business law, which is specifically governing the banking. About the law, I think we have finished discussing it at the very first meeting of this course. Meanwhile, for the banking, it's something new in our discussion, so we will focus on the banking to understand about the concept. So what is banking? Talking about banking is actually we are talking about anything, yeah, related to the bank. So anything that related to the bank, it could be regarding the institution, as well as the activities of the bank, and then the procedures, and also the process of realization of the business. So in banking law, it is governed what kind of institution can be used to establish the bank. If you still remember when I delivered you about the business entity, so you can use the understanding of the topic in viewing the concept of the institution of the bank. So do or does each kind of business entity can be used to establish a bank? Like, can you make a bank in the form of firma, in the form of CFA, something like that? So it's all about the institution, and also about the activities. What are the activities that can be done by the bank? Like saving, deposits, and also give the credit, etc. And how is the procedures of the establishment of the company, and also how is the process of the running of the business. So that is banking, everything related to the bank, especially these four things, it's called banking. Principally, bank is an institution that could give fund for others. So bank can give some fundraise for the parties who need it, the one that we would call next as a debtor. Based on the Indonesian law, the main activities of the bank is collecting the money. Bank is collecting the money from the society, which is us, you, your parents, your neighbors. So each of us have some money, maybe in different amount, and bank is give us a variety of options how we are going to use our money. And one of the option is to save the money, so it becomes a savings. It becomes a savings because we save this money to the bank. So now the bank collecting the money. After collecting the money, of course, the bank is trying to get some profit. So to get the profit, bank return it back again, this money that is collected from the society. This is the society. The bank return it back again to the society again. who need some fundraise. So they return it back again to the society in form of credit. So what is the activities of the bank? Is by collecting the money from the society in form of savings and return it back again to the society in form of the credit. And by doing this, the bank would then get the profit. Of course, further, it has some improvement. The activities is developed. The classification of savings is also developed. The classification of credit is also developed. It's not always you take the credit to the bank asking for some loans. They give you some money, you have to pay it back. Now you can recognize many classification of credit in the bank. You might recognize credit card or maybe KPR or the other kind of credit. And for the saving as well, you have the regular savings, deposit, and the other kind of savings. So that is principally the activities of the bank. Well, then now you can be critical. What if a bank one day, or maybe your parents or your sister, your brother is experienced with the situation, because I experienced with the situation that the bank is offering you something which is not actually the activities of the bank. Maybe they offer you some insurance, or they offer you a certain business instrument. What do you think about that? Based on the legal principle, we're talking about law here. We're not talking about business. You talk about business in your school, but here I'm teaching you the law. But based on the law, bank, this is the one that you can do. Yeah? And the law is binding, and it's a must to follow the law. So that is the bank. So you need to read also the regulations. Yeah, there are many regulations about banking, law 92 and law 98, and also the conduction regulation like peraturan pemerintah, the government regulation, to learn further about it. Yeah. In Indonesia, the conduction of the banking in Indonesia got principle, as different country has different principle. As I told you at the very first meeting as well, that every country has different value, different point of view regarding what is the best for them. In Indonesia, all the regulation in our country is to protect the Indonesian value, right? And it's also realized in the business of activities. So the value should be realized in the real life of the society, as well as in banking. And the principle of the banking in Indonesia is economic democracy. And this means that it gives a freedom of making effort for the economic, but must be based on the law. And also, if we talk further about the principles in Indonesia, we support the system of the togetherness, yeah, and also we use the concept of family support, yeah, kekeluargaan in economic. Even though you also can be critical about that, if you try to analyze the structure and the existing regulation in Indonesia, whether it is supporting it or not, because Undang-Undang PT itself, Law Number 40 2007 itself, it's more liberal than what we expecting if we want to fully implement the Indonesian system. So actually, all the institution and the body in Indonesia must be a cooperative, because cooperative is the soul of Indonesian economic. The principle is really Indonesian, while PT is taken from a different country with different perspective from us. So that is the principle, and the basic activities of the banking. And if we take a look at philosophically, so the banking activities has some function and objective. The function is to mobilize and to channel funds from the public to the public again. Yeah? So people who has abundant or more money, they can save it and keep on getting additional money in the form of interest, while the other person who is less or lack of the capital but have an idea of business or have a big effort and willing to do a business, so they can channel it, they can try to find some fundraise from the bank, and the bank uh, can connect the money to the one who need the money, and this man could use the money for the business, and if the business is successful, it would also help the economic of the country. So that's why the objectives of the banking is supporting the national development for the purpose of improving equitable distribution, as well as the economic growth, and also dynamic sustainable growth and dynamic sustainable national stability. And we could also including the purposes of aim at improving the welfare of the common people. So that's the concept. So when we talk about bankings, we focus on the bank, in the bank, the legal aspect of bank, including the institution. So how to make the bank formally, legally based on Indonesian law, and what kind of activities that lawful to be conducted, how is the procedure, how is the process of the activities of the bank. Then after this, hopefully you could follow the next discussion much better. But for your guidance in the beginning, this is the concept that you have to know. I think that's all for this part. We will discuss further later about the banking law at the next part. Thank you. God bless you.